Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing and review video. As you can see in front of us, we've got a load of the new Leagues of Votann units to have a look at today. Games Workshop have sent Sprues and Brews a copy of all these boxes for us to have a look at. So let's not waste any time and let's dive straight in. So we'll move some of these out of the way. I just wanted to sort of pile them up there just to show you the amount of new kits that the Leagues of Votann are getting. And we'll start with the Grimnyr, who is the sort of Psycho unit for the Leagues of Votann. So we've seen all these previewed online on Warhammer Community. You get the Grimnyr himself or herself, you get the alternate head, and the two sort of ECOG, I think they're ECorvs, aren't they, for the Grimnyr? His sort of assistants. Really nice looking model there. So if we open this up, let's take a look inside at the sprues themselves. I'll put these to one side. So nice little instruction booklet there with a sort of preview of the stats on the back, pretty standard. Put this to one side. Get a couple of bases for the ECorvs and the Grimnyr themselves. Okay, interesting. So we get the little flying stands here. 3 of those, so I guess one must be spare. And then all of the model and the ECorvs here are on one sprue. So let's see what we've got on here. Nice shield crest there coming across the top. These are the first time I've seen any of the sort of drone type Votann units. Pretty cool. So it looks like they've got the female head here. Looks like it's in 2 pieces with the hair. Here's the sort of staff. Yeah, very nice. I like the detail on the back of the cloak. I think you can just make it out there on the camera. It's like inset with sort of Votann runes, dwarvish runes. Really nice. Oh, these shield crests, I wonder if they go over the ECorvs rather than the Grimnyr themselves. There's the hooded helm as well. See, I think they are both very good. It's nice you get the option to build a male and female version, and I guess you can include multiple Grimnyrs. You might want one of the Lord Grimnyrs, which is the upgrade for the Grimnyr model in the rules. I wonder if you can have Ironkin Grimnyrs. That would be cool. I wonder if it's possible to convert an Ironkin Grimnyr. Can't imagine why not. Okay, so that's the Grimnyr. I'm going to park that to one side for a moment. And we will get, I think, the Brôkhyr Iron-master. So this is a nice box. Comes with 5 models. We get the Brôkhyr himself, an Ironkin assistant, and then these are the ECOGs, aren't they? The sort of drone assistants of the Brôkhyr. I'm assuming I'll have to check the codex again to find out what sort of, are they fully sentient like the Ironkin, or are they more sort of servitor type intelligences? I'm not sure. Now, we'll be interested in this one because it'll be interesting to see if there's any variety in the build. They come with a sort of standard loadout in the codex itself, but it will be interesting to see whether there's alternate head options or anything like that. I'm not sure there are, but we will soon find out. So, put this to one side. We get the instructions again. Let's see on here. Okay, so it looks like there's some slight variety in the build here. Some different helmet pieces. It looks like you can, maybe you can either have the sort of goggles raised up over his forehead or down over his eyes. That's quite interesting. This is the Ironkin assistant here, and then the they're attached to the base by some debris rather than a flying stand, which is, yeah, there are no flying stands in there, so that's cool. That's the instructions. We get a transfer sheet. This is the same transfer sheet we saw in the army set box. Pardon me. So yeah, it's the same. We get our bases for the Ironkin Assistant, the Brôkhyr, and these must be the 3 ecogs. Put those to one side, and it's just a single sort of double sprue here. Yeah, they're really nice pieces actually attached to the sort of, I've not noticed that in the previews. Well, they attached to the ecog. The tool belt sort of apron thing there of the Ironkin Assistant, another ecog drone there, another ecog drone here. And then we can see here, this is the cloak of the Brôkhyr Iron-master. This must be the front bit. A few sort of smith looking tools there. This is a nice grav rifle, and there's a really nice relic grav rifle as well, I think, in the codex. Nice hammer there. Yeah. Oh, we get a cool pistol. Looks like it's attached maybe to one of the ecogs. It doesn't look like there's a hand gripping that. Or if there's a hand, it's a very small hand. Where's the head? It'll be interesting to see if you've got any options here for us. So are we? So there we go. There's the head there. So actually, I think you could probably, yeah, I think you could probably use some of the other heads from some of the other kits on there as well to make like a female Brôkhyr Iron-master, or potentially an Ironkin Brôkhyr Iron-master. I'd love to see someone do a full Ironkin army. Actually, that might be, you know, some rogue hold, or not rogue hold, some distant hold that has been lost to the rest of the kin, and all the mortal kin have died, and it's just ruled now by the Ironkin. So that was all of the heroes character models. So let's take a look next at the Einhyr Hearthguard. These are the elite sort of Terminator type units for the the Votann. Very sort of similar armor style to the Einhyr Champion, who we got that one in the army set, and it is actually coming out as a separate. We do have, I've put it down over there, so we also are getting the Einhyr Champion released as its own individual model as well, set at the same time, so you can pick that up as well. I do like some of the colour schemes, these bright orange colour schemes, and this black and yellow one's quite nice. Let's open these up then and take a look inside. It's very difficult with a camera in front of me, but you can manage. There we go. I don't think there's anything else in there. Nope. So again, we get an instruction manual, a bit bigger this time, I guess, because you've got lots of different ways to build the Hearthguard. So we've got one with these, look like the plasma pistols. These look like the iron pistols, perhaps. And then we've got the sort of phase blades on the gauntlet blades, or the sort of concussion gauntlets, mass gauntlets are they called, I think. So 4 different loadouts for them. And then you can also build the champion here. Quick flip through here. So that's quite interesting there. You can see the variety of heads we get at the top there. You just see a mixture of female and male. Helmed, fully helmed. No Ironkin though. But like I say, I'm sure you can mix and match some of the parts from other models on these. We'll have to see when we get to build them, and we will be putting these together and coming back at the end of the video with a sort of showcase of the built models, and we'll try and get as many as we can painted as well. The different weapon options here, so there's a hammer option as well. I assume that's just the champion can have that. They are nice models, and these sort of compare quite nicely to the Einhyr Champion. The Einhyr Champion's like launching themselves off that rock, a very, very sort of dynamic pose. These guys have their feet planted firmly on the ground, you know, like an anvil against which the enemy will crash against. Yeah, really, really nice models. And a stat line at here. Some sample stats at the back there. Yeah, it looks like an iron, is it? Or maybe a Volkite, and they get this grenade launcher thing at the back. Very nice. Another transfer sheet. The same transfer sheet again, which is good. And we get the bases. And then there are 2 sprues here. So they are 2 different sprues as well. So we'll look at this one first. So we've got a couple of shield crests on here. Of course, a lot of the different Ironkin, I keep calling them Ironkin. I think I've got Ironkin on the mind now. A lot of the different Votann units have different shield crest options, like rampart crests and teleport crests. So it's nice to have the different pieces to represent that piece of war gear. We've got the hammer there. Some of the sort of I say the pistols. They are like submachine gun looking weapons. They're quite, you know, they're a bit chunkier than pistols. This looks like a Volkite actually. It might be Volkite and iron or Volkite and plasma. Thinking about it, rather than iron. Got the phase gauntlet there, plasma gauntlet, plasma blade. I'm not sure. Some of the heads there at the top. I think you can just make them out. Just along here. Yeah, and these are definitely compatible with the warrior kits and the other kits, so you can mix and match them, I think. And this looks like part of the sort of grenade bit that goes across the back. And then we've got the sort of model here with the legs and torso and things. There are a few fists. So that's the first sprue. Oh, and you can just see here as well some of the helmets. These ones are fully enclosed. And if we look at the second sprue, so it's very similar to the first one, I think. There are no head options on this one. Yeah, you can just see sort of repeat of some of the weapons there. Some of these, like these sword things here. I'm sure they're called plasma gauntlets or phase gauntlets or something like that. I should have brought the codex with me. Yeah, very similar sort of style armour to the Einhyr Champion. I've painted the Einhyr Champion twice now, so quite familiar with the different sort of panels and the inset dwarf runes. Okay, so that's the Einhyr Hearthguard. We'll move these down and we'll take a look next at the... Okay, so we've got... I was really excited about this unit, the Cthonian Beserks. Yeah, I really like these guys. I really like these ones. You get a couple of different ways to build them. So you can build them with these sort of axe type weapons, and they're sort of, I think they're called mass gauntlets, the power fists. And you can also build them with these the big hammers, the mass hammers. I think I'm going to have to get 2 boxes and build both. You also get the Ironkin here holding the big axe with the mole grenade launcher. And I didn't realise, this crazy what things you miss on the Warhammer community articles. These little markers here, these must represent the mole grenades coming up out of the ground, I suppose. Very cool. Let's have a look inside then. So, okay. So we get lots of bases. These little ones here must be for those little markers. We get the big one here for the Ironkin and the mole grenade launcher model himself, and then the rest of the bases are in the bag there. We also get the instructions. Okay, so a bit of information about the different size bases there you can see, and then the different builds. Oh, they're superb. Yep, these look very, very nice. Like dwarf slayers, sci-fi dwarf slayers. Lots of cables. Always fun to paint cables, not. Yeah, I like these little like backpacks that go on the back of them, like streamlined versions of the sort of bulkier backpacks that the Hearthkin warriors wear. And then the Ironkin here carrying some of the weapons. Oh, that's interesting. So you can have it carrying the axe and the hammer. so he will fit in with the rest of the unit. And then there's sort of markers there, just one pieces as you'd expect. And then a little summary of the sort of stats at the back there. Once again, we get another transfer sheet. Although, I mean, it's interesting to see where these transfers will actually go on the models. Most of them are sort of like not got much armour on their arms and torso. I guess you could put them on the chest plate on the Ironkin. But it's always good to have spare, I guess, to sprinkle through the rest of your army. So we get, oh, there's another base there. We get sort of 3 half sprues here. I suspect then these are all unique. Yep, they all look unique. So we'll take a look at the smaller one first. So this has got, by the looks of it, the Ironkin or parts of the Ironkin assistant on there. We get a mixture of the weapons. There's the mole grenade launcher. Some of the heads are on here, so we got a mixture of female and male heads as well. Those weapons look amazing. And actually, you know, I think some of them, it'd be interesting to use these on some Space Marines, I think. You know, from the hammer equivalents and some power axes. Yeah, a bit of chopping. I think you could use them on some Space Marines. So that's the first sprue, and then we get another larger sprue made of the 2 parts with very much the same things on them. So these are just your regular kin models on here. And get a mixture of heads again. And then some of these weapons, I mean, you can see the axe there at the bottom and the hammer. They are huge. It'll be interesting when I built these to find out, with the Hearthguard warriors, there were so many little extras and attachments and pouches and things like this that you could attach to the model to really personalise them. It'll be interesting to see how much sort of freedom you get and flexibility you get on the Cthonian Beserks as well. Looking at the sprues here, I'll have to go back through the instruction manual, but there's nothing jumping out at me that looks like an optional extra, you know, like pouches, ammo clips and things like this. But perhaps these guys, you know, they are just melee specialists. They just basically have these big weapons. Perhaps there's not much reason for them to carry ammo clips and things. Hopefully there's enough variety in the poses and things to make sure you can build 1 or 2 units that look quite different. We'll see once I've had the experience of building them. So that's the Cthonian Beserks. And then we come to our last of our infantry, which is the Brôkhyr Thunderkyn. Now, I really like the look of these models. I think they look really, really cool. Sort of exosuit armoured dwarfs. Only 2 weapon options, but what I'm really excited about these guys is, oh, I say 2 weapon options actually, 3 weapon options. Looks like a grav gun. Not sure what this one is, and a bolter. I didn't realise it could take the bolters. They look really cool with the bolters actually, and that looks like an Ironkin type version of the model. Okay, so 3 models in this box. Put them to one side. So we've got the 3 Terminator size bases. The instruction manual. I'll just flip to the back. Yes, there you go, 3 different weapon options. I think one is a beam weapon, isn't it? I think. I like the bolter. I think that looks really cool. Okay. So these, I think, will be a bit more of a complicated build, simply because you've got this sort of almost like the Grey Knight Dread Knight. You've got the pilot enclosed inside a suit, and you can see here you can build the pilot first, and then build the suit around him almost. So it's going to be interesting to see how you approach this from a painting type point of view, whether it's possible to build it in sub-assemblies so that you can paint, and then that's interesting. Okay, the instructions open up like this. That's just to make it interesting. Yeah, this is what worries me about. Not worries me, but I am a bit nervous about attempting to paint this model to make sure you can get into all the details. Really going to have a close look through the instructions, I think, to see whether you can build it in sub-assemblies. But I mean, the end model just looks fantastic, though. Very, very cool. We get a few different head options here, and it looks like there are like accessories over the face, like goggles and visors and things that you can place over the top. There's your Ironkin. Very cool. Okay, another transfer sheet. It's great to, you know, I guess you expect it when you get transfer sheets in most of the boxes nowadays. So we've got 3 sprues here, all of which look different, so that's good. So we look at the smaller one first. So perhaps it's one model per individual sort of sub sprue. So you've got the 3 weapon options. So here's the autark bolt type weapon. I love that. That's very cool. I think I would build all mine with this. We've got the grav weapon, grav beamer is it? I'm not sure. Very nice. And then we've got this one, which I cannot for the life of me remember what kind of weapon that one is. Okay, interesting. So the actual dwarf inside is a single piece. Well, I say single piece, you know, the legs and the torso are attached. The Hearthkin warriors, you would have to build all of that as a separate sort of piece, but that's interesting. That's primarily already built. You just attach them back. I guess that's where it clips into the exosuit around it, and then the arms. So that's quite cool. Some of the arm panels we got here are very cool. The little sort of visor at the top there. Goes over one of the heads. Got the Ironkin head there. These are the feet. This is like the sort of bars that come over the front of him. Okay. And last sprue is just more of the same. We get a few of the heads there, on the bottom. And here as well, by the looks, is that head there? No, it looks like some kind of container or power supply or something, perhaps. Yep, 3 different weapons. I think you have to build these with the same loadout. I don't think you can mix and match the loadout. I don't think. I do think, though, they can be repaired by the Brôkhyr Iron-master. So if you've got a squad of these with an Iron-master accompanying them, I think that'd be quite good. So it's an interesting kit. I would love to see this unit scaled up, maybe with multiple dwarfs piloting one. I think that could be quite cool, like almost like a dreadnought type unit. And I think also a close combat version of the Thunderkyn might look quite nice as well. A bit like the Paragon war suits of the Sisters of Battle. Oh, interesting unit. Okay, so that's that one. So that's all of our infantry and characters done. So let's take a look at the first of the vehicles. And this is the Sagitaur, the sort of light ATV. I say light, all of the Votann model tanks and vehicles are super tough. It's like a moon buggy type thing here. This is a really unique transport because you can take them in units of 2 and you can split units across them, which is, you know, quite a unique sort of rule and mechanic. You can see some of the details on the back here, quite similar to the Pioneer, Hearthkin Pioneers, the bikes. They have all these sort of satchels and rucksacks and pieces of equipment stowed on their vehicles as well. We've got some of the heavier weapons that go on the top of the vehicle. And then these are, it's okay, so you've got the pilot and sort of gunner at the back there. I love these sort of bubble cockpits that the Votann have. Their vehicles are very unique looking. So let's open this up then. So we get the instruction booklet. Is this going to open like a real book? This opens like a real book, back to normal. Okay. So you can see there a sort of inventory of the sprues and the pieces. It looks like quite a simple sort of sprue, really. I guess we'll see when we come to them. And then the new sort of clear carapace cockpits there. Okay, so you sort of build a bit like the Eldar, where you build the sort of cockpit with the pilot inside, the driver. Really nice sort of profile shot of it as well there. And then the bulk of the tank seems to be just in 2 pieces there that you put around it. You can see here a choice of heads as well. Sorry, just bring down a choice of heads. So you can have Ironkin pilots and Ironkin drivers. Oh wow, look at this. This is great, yeah. You just sort of build the hull around the pilots. Nice little console. We'll look out for that when we have a look at the sprues in a second. And then these big bars that go around the outside. Oh wow. I mean, straight away I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, we need to put some wings on that, perhaps make it like a gunship or a flyer. Although there are sort of snippets of artwork and clues in the codex. I mean, if you've read through the codex now, you'll see all the references to Votann gunships, and I can't imagine a flyer is too far away for the Leagues of Votann. There must be one at some point in their future. And here we're attaching, oh, look at these sort of like the suspension and to attach the wheels. Very cool. And then additional armor plates, because that's what dwarfs are all about. And then we come to the weapon options. So there are 3 primary weapon options there. You've got the auto cannon type thing that looks like some sort of high las cannon, and the missile launcher. Looks like these move when you build them as well. Of course, it's got the front-mounted bolter weapons as well. And then I'm not sure, we'll have to see whether there's much variety here, but you attach these sort of the pioneer type equipment I was saying on the back there with the pickaxes and things, and then finally the carapaces go on top. And it actually looks like you can quite easily get into the cockpit, so you may not have to worry too much about sub-assemblies with this one. You may be able to build it and paint the guys inside. In fact, and that would make sense, because if we look back at the instructions, and we'll talk more about this at the end of the video once we've had a chance to build it, but you do sort of build around that cockpit, so it'd be quite difficult, I think, to paint in sub-assemblies in that regard. Interesting, the carapace here looks to be in 2 parts as well. And then we just have a summary here of the weapons on the back. Oh, and I never noticed, let's look at this, alternate. You've got lots more little missiles and large missiles on the missile pod. Very cool. Another transfer sheet. And then we come to the vehicle itself. So let's take a look at the carapace. So this is the smaller sort of gunner section there. And then these are the 2 main bits that sort of, they don't clip together, but they sit together to form that one big primary sort of carapace. Okay, and we've got the 3 sprues. So this looks like the main one with the bulk of the sort of chassis on there. Not sure what these little pieces are here. They're like tiny little, can you just see them? Tiny little sort of arms, robot arms. Some of the armor panels, and then all the wheels. So quite a simple sprue really. Doesn't look like too complicated a kit to put together. And I was looking at, especially the Hekaton Land Fortress, which we'll come to in a second, how difficult a build it will be. But actually, this looks quite straightforward. The pieces are quite chunky. It doesn't look like there's many fiddly bits on there. We can see here the cockpit. Look at how great that is there. That's really cool. This is the other gunner section, I guess. One of the panels at the back. Got the big bars here. Got a couple of heads there. There's 2 on that sprue. I wonder if there's any more. 3. So you got a choice there, because there's only 2 sort of passengers or pilots in the vehicle. And then we've got the last sprue here, which will have the weapons on, I think. Yep, here we go. So we've got one of the weapons there. A part of the weapon there and here. The missile launcher must be these bits here, I'm assuming. We've got another section here, looks like another console or something. I'm not sure where that bit goes. This is the equipment that you sort of put on the back. One of the doors. So you've got some ammo feeds here. This is the big antenna. Oh, this looks like a really, really cool vehicle. These are the like the suspensiony bits where the wheels attach. Be interesting to see when we're putting this together whether they slot in a set position, or you have some freedom to sort of make it look like the wheels are at different levels going over uneven terrain. I'm undecided whether I want to mount mine on an oval base as well. I think I do, just to tie it in with the army a bit better. So you can put some rocks on there, and we'll see whether these can adjust up and down to accommodate for the rocks on an uneven surface. I don't know. We'll see. We'll put these together, and we'll have some more feedback at the end of this video. So that's the Sagitaur, and let's bring out the sort of main battle tank and transport for the Votann, which is the box is that big I can't even get it on the camera properly. This is the Hekaton land fortress. I think a lot of people saw this unit and fell in love straight away. Yeah, this looks very, very cool. So we can see on the back here, and like I say, that I'll try and get it. There we go. You can see some of the different. Sorry, I apologise for this. The camera's in the way. I can't get it round very well, but you can see the different weapons here. The sort of auxiliary weapons, these bolters. I think it's got like 4 of them dotted around, and then these are the special missiles, like one-use missiles that you can equip the land fortresses with. And then again, we've got pilots and co-pilots sitting in the same cabin. And looking on the actual kit itself, it looks like you get at the front here another dome there and one there. So I mean, potentially 4 pilots for this vehicle. We'll see when we get inside and have a look. So this comes in a box like the larger vehicles normally do. I'll just put this to one side for a moment, and we'll have a look at the instruction booklet. So looks like we get 3 sprues again, and again I have to say they do not look that complicated a sprue. You know, I'm used to building Imperial vehicles, Space Marine vehicles, and you'd have sprues full of individual segments of track, and you just look at that and think, oh great, you're going to spend 45 minutes putting together just the tracks. Does not appear to be the case with these ones. Obviously there are no tracks, but it does seem like a much simpler sprue. Looks like we get a different set of the clear sort of plastic carapace there compared to the Sagitaur. You can see the different weapon options here. The infamous mag rail, and then the 2 other primary weapons. When we get to the build itself, there's little suspension bits as well. It doesn't look like there's much. They're quite set, I think, quite fixed. So I think this is going to be you're not going to be able to adjust the position of the wheels too much, if at all. Wow, look at this. It does look very interesting to build. So this is different. And so rather than building around the sort of cockpits, you're building the vehicle itself. A bit different than the Sagitaur here. And there we go, the main cockpit goes in afterwards. So yeah, it looks like potentially there are some options here for some sub-assemblies. Wow, you can actually see inside, there's like a little door at the back. It'd be interesting to see what's actually, you know, inside. I know when you're building like Land Raiders and Rhinos, you can build inside the compartments and you can paint them. It'd be interesting to see if you can do that here. The build progresses, and then here we start getting some options by the look of it, or yeah, choose the variant you want to build. So right, so there are some different auxiliary weapon options here. You can have a combination of the bolters. I'm assuming these are the iron guns, or a mixture of 2. Wow, that's cool. And yeah, you can see them there, so the bottom left there. And these go in and they can swivel around as well, which is nice. And then on this page here, you can see at the bottom the different missile options, and you can have the missiles sort of primed with the lid open, or the the top open or top closed, I guess. Or you get an option to put a piece of scanning equipment, I guess, with a dome over the top. And you can see it there. And then this is the sort of rear weapon on this page. And again, it looks like you can build it with the gun or with a little dome on top. I'm assuming then that means that you can potentially put this gun in different positions. I'm not sure. We'll have to see when we get to the build. And then we've got the primary weapon there, the free options, and again you get some movement in the turret once you've built it. Haha, there we go. There's a little sort of Ironkin assistant there operating a console. You can see the bottom left. And then the other so it was the back of his seat there. We were wondering what that piece was there, but it's the back of the seat. Main pilot, some headlamps on the front, and then we put all of the sort of carapace options on top. Wow. Yeah, this looks like a very, very cool model, and we get a sort of summary of the stats on the back there with the different weapon options. So we'll put this to one side for a moment. Then we'll bring the box in front of us. So we've got the 3 main sprues. We've got a set of transfers, and we've got the clear carapace sort of plastic frame again. So there's a tiny little bit there. I can't remember seeing what that bit was. It must be one of the sensors or something. That's interesting. Make sure you don't lose that piece. Then we've got this big one at the front. I'm wondering whether this part goes underneath there. This is the sort of side one, and then 2 that can go on the top if you choose not to use the missiles and things, I guess. Okay. Standard transfer sheet. And then we've got the sprues themselves. So do these in order. So it's like the top of the vehicle there. We've got some of the missile options at the bottom. And this must be, it does have a scanner. I can't think what, like a sensor array in the codex as well on its data sheet. I think that's what that represents. This is the base of the model there. Nice detail, like the lamps and consoles and things around the exit hatches and entrance hatches and things. Very cool. Another sprue here with another large bit. This is one side. The other sprue's got the other side. So these, the side and the top on the other one. And we get some of the sort of cockpit detailing on this sprue as well, by the looks of it. Some of the weapons here as well. These little sort of bubble type auxiliary weapons are very, very cool, I think. This is the mag rail, the terrifying weapon of the Leagues of Votann. Ignores invulnerable saves, AP -4. I think it's pretty sure it's 2d3 plus 6 damage. Now, of course, they have released the errata for the Leagues of Votann, which sort of tones down the auto wound for the judgment tokens, which means that I think potentially it's going to be trickier to get the spill effect of the mag rail weapon off. We'll have to see how that plays out, but it certainly doesn't diminish the actual raw anti-tank capabilities of that weapon. Another console there. I love these little console details. They're very, very cool. Got parts of the pilots at the top there, and these are the wheels. Quite fair size wheels. Looks like I've just noticed as well some of the head options here. They're very similar to the I'll get these in focus for you. Very similar to the Hearthguard Pioneers. So I think perhaps use some options to mix and match with those. And this is the last sprue. So we get the other side, the other half of the vehicle there, some of the doors. Here we can see some of the auxiliary weapon options, so that looks like the bolt is there. We must have missed the other weapons on one of the other sprues. Well, it looks like I'm assuming part of the weapon again there. Oh yes, we get, this is the primary cockpit inside there, so you can see the legs are moulded in already. You would just attach the torso. I'm assuming at the front here, some of these other console pieces that we saw will slot in. But that's good, because I think I've had a proper look through the instruction books, but I think perhaps, you know, that doesn't seem too tricky to get in there and paint before you attach the plastic carapace. So I think from a painting point of view, it should be quite easy to make sure you can get all those details painted before you attach the carapace over the top. It's always the not worry, but it's always something I have to consider when you're building models where the drivers and pilots and gunners and things are semi-exposed. So we've looked through all the sprues there for the different model kits that we've been sent from Games Workshop. What we'll do now is we'll get cracking, we'll build as many of them as we can, we'll get some paint on some of them, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at some of the completed models.